whack a boss? I won't do that.
Kaisha was the most tonally off-kilter finale, I'd say, which I suppose makes sense considering season 6 was split down the middle to 6A and 6B. So instead of necessarily seeing this as a finale, you could also just see it as season 6, episode 12.
You're a gorgeous home. Thank you.
Now, don't get me wrong, there were some great moments.
Your brother Billy, whatever happened there?
All right then. Whatever happened there?
The shooting.
Tony wanted our attention? Fine. He got our attention. Now we wipe him off the planet.
But I wouldn't say it's the most cinematic.
Here, the higher good is the good of the Corps, as General MacArthur said in his farewell address at the point. The Corps, the Corps, the Corps.
Yeah. You're late. Well, tomorrow I can be on time, but you'll be stupid forever.
In Army of One, Jackie Jr. is killed.
I see you should have played that out. That's the only way you're going to learn.
FBI agent Deborah Chicharron agrees to become Danielle and meets Adriana at the mall.
I was gonna go sit with a Starbucks.
So was I.
You wanna go together?
Yeah.
Great.
There weren't really many surprises, though, in Army of One. It was the prior episode where Jackie Jr. and his guys tried to knock up the card game, so it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that Jackie Jr. was going to end up dead. I used to think, what a small little lame gun that Vito uses to kill him. Like, why did they choose that gun? But then I thought more about it, and it seemed pretty fitting for Jackie Jr., actually.
I beat cancer. Now I'm gonna beat the can.
And Meadow declares,
"This is such bullshit!"
which reminds me of another season finale that I'll talk about in a little bit.
All due respect, you got no fucking idea what it's like to be number one.
It's good. Seeing you again.
Still look forward to working with you, John. I mean that.
You want a coffee?
Well, I don't know.
In all due respect, Johnny Sack is arrested.
Oh my God!
I'm the gardener!
Jimmy Petriel is revealed as a rat.
Jimmy Petriel was a cooperator. Brooklyn AUSA took down the whole Petriel crew, plus Johnny.
There tends to be a pattern where penultimate episodes of some seasons are even more filled with action and people and issues reaching their breaking point. And this rings true nowhere more than in season 5, with long-term parking coming right behind All Due Respect. It's a hard act to follow. Tony does finally kill Tony B, though similarly to how it was a foregone conclusion pretty much that Jackie Jr. had to die, I think the same applies here with Tony B. So it really wasn't a surprise.
Why don't you call for help in your radio mic?
I will never speak another word to you again, Satimir.
In I Dream of Jeannie Cusamano, Mikey Palmisi is killed.
Corrado Soprano, FBI.
Junior is arrested and indicted, which makes Tony the new boss now in name and everything.
Wish him buona fortuna.
Such a brute.
Go.
Dr. Melfi has to go on the lam.
Chico vacation.
Tony gets full confirmation and proof that his mother and Junior organized a plot to kill him.
My cousin Keiki, after he had his lobotomy, he looked exactly like my son.
Olivia.
Empty. Come on! A shell.
He reminds his family,
If you're lucky, you remember the little moments. Like this.
and getting to Vesuvio is almost like their own form of sanctuary. While the season 1 finale sets the tone for the series, I don't think it's the strongest overall. I think that later finales hit harder because the characters have grown even more complex and emotionally layered by that point.
What do you want me to say?
Made in America, that final cut to black. It's the series finale that's still debated all these years later. What's the fate of the main character? And those around him as well.
It didn't have to be this way.
Bye-bye, Pop-Pop.
Damn, we're gonna win this thing.
Out of all the season finales, I wouldn't say that I would call it the best of the best. Some finales feel essential, but with Made in America, while many things wouldn't be wrapped up, just as many things aren't wrapped up after what is the finale. So I think the fact that it could theoretically be left out without really taking away the strength of the show makes it not number 1 on my list, or number 2.
And then you would come down the stairs. And I felt probably like someone who is terminally ill and somehow they managed to forget it.
Whitecaps, the season 4 finale.
It's just so absurd. Why would I make it up?
There's the blow-up phone call from Irina, the separation. Johnny Sack's decision to not kill Carmine, although we know he still wants to.
So now we just go back about our business at the Esplanade like it never happened?
Carmela!
Why would the cousin make it up? Because she's jealous! Why do you fuck? Let go of me!
The one thing I'll say is that I don't know if we needed to really extend the Whitecaps property issue for that long, to the point that the episode needed to be 75 minutes. I think we could have perhaps wrapped it up a little quicker than that, or included some more Soprano family stuff rather than the Whitecaps property issue specifically.
Well, I don't drink anymore. I freeze it now and I eat it like a popsicle.
You gotta let it go, Alan!
Anyway, $4 a pound.
I remember the first time I watched the series, it's this episode, and I remember stopping and saying, holy shit. The fact that I was sad over Puss's death, despite knowing that he was a rat, and just all the big and little moments and the emotions and the impact that it had on me. I mentioned earlier that some penultimate episodes tend to outshine the finales that follow them, but despite the action we saw in The Knight in White Satin Armor that culminated with Janice killing Richie and then going back to Seattle, Funhouse did all of that action and then some.
Jesus Christ. I gotta sit down. Is that okay, Tony? Did I sit?
And I think one of the lessons from Funhouse is that we can celebrate while also mourning and grieving, as well as doing all the things in between. They were celebrating Meadows High School graduation. She decided she's going to go to Columbia. They had a big party in her honor. Tony hasn't been indicted. There's a lot to legitimately celebrate, and there's also a lot to grieve.
I'm your lover, baby, through.
Overall, it wasn't easy to do these rankings because the reality is these are all great episodes, or at least I think so. What would your ranking for the finales be? I'd love to hear from you.